who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
How do you identify yourself? Are you a transgender or ladyboy?
I'm a transgender. I identify myself as a transgender and proud to be transgender.
Of course it's proud. Pride is in the very name of the movement that represents this person that you're listening to right there. The Bible word that I will use here is sodomite. You know, the King James Bible is an encyclopedia. It's a dictionary. It's a history lesson, and so much more. The Bible mentions sodomites as a larger group of people than merely gay people or LGBT people or persons engaging in that lifestyle. Being a sodomite includes those people and the people who approve of them and who will defend that perversion. And just please understand that in using these terms and speaking in this way, I'm simply being plain and direct with how we examine these things mentioned in the Bible. I'm commanded to study this book to show myself approved, a workman who needeth not be ashamed before the Lord himself, rightly dividing the word of truth. Now you may be a man who has never been with a man, or a woman never been with another woman in that way. And maybe you never want to do anything like that stuff. But you're going to approve of the people who are doing those things. You're going to defend them in the name of quote unquote love. That means you're a sodomite. Just like the people who are doing those things, you're taking pleasure. That is, you're defending, you're embracing those who are doing those things. That means you're a part of those people surrounding Lot's house in Genesis 19. I don't believe that all those people there in that account necessarily wanted to molest those angels that look like men. The most vocal people in that crowd there in Genesis 19, they were threatening to kick in Lot's door and take grown folks by force. Can we read into the text there? How about I just read the text? Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore. They came near to break the door. Now you got to understand, this is today's loving crowd. This is talking about people living today. Do they want to know you? They want to hurt you. They want to force you to accept what they're doing. And if you don't, you are the evil one, even though God says what they're doing is evil. Now I understand people can't preach this passage on a large platform, or very rarely are you going to hear it, unless there's some kind of example to be made. According to the Bible, the men, the sodomites of Sodom there, and you'll notice nobody is called a sodomite in Genesis. It's only later that that term is used. But these sodomites living in Sodom, the inhabitants of Sodom, the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, they wearied themselves to find the door. And the onlookers, both great and small, old and young, powerful and average Joes, they supported this, either passively or actively. They were inclusive, to use a modern term. As I said, they correspond to people today who they act like they're nice or act like they're loving. They may not participate, but they want to watch. And they're going to protect whatever is going on so that the preacher can't stop it. Conviction can't stop it. They aren't trying to be away from the crowd. They want to be part of the crowd because it's hard to be outside the gate, as they say. Now we've got that's the type of people we've got running around today. The person who wouldn't get into these kinds of intimate relationships, but who endorses it in just about anything, except for Bible preaching. So that allows for the prideful sinner, hostile to God, to have an advocate. Pride is really the launch pad for almost all our sin when you start to look at it. And we're all in danger, or at least vulnerable in that way. Pride is always right there at hand for all of us. But there's a difference between fighting against pride. I want to put down my pride. I want to give the glory to the Lord and not think it's about me. He must increase and I must decrease. There's a difference between that and justifying sin in the name of pride. So, of course, this person, she is proud. Or look at that. I up and called it a she. You see that? You know, we've all been affected or fazed by this kind of view or language. This is not a she, it's just a guy. No matter what slicing and injections and makeup, he may not be trying to trick men per se, but most of the people who are doing this are trying to trick the normal person, normal man, the normal dude out here. I mean, they're changing what normal even is. You've heard that term probably in the last decade or so. The new normal. That's what the sodomite's all about. A new normal. So you're looking at this person right there on the right. This man wants to appear as a woman. To me, that means you want the advantages that come along with being a woman today. You want that handicap that the world's systems afford a female. I know the world tells you different, that women are so oppressed and put upon, and I know there's some of that going on. But women have a lot of advantages as well, and they don't like to juxtapose their advantages and disadvantages. They don't like to put those things together. Men have some disadvantages. And this person right here wants to deal in confusion. So even if he and others who do similar things to themselves don't necessarily want to get another man in some kind of position where the other man realizes, oh my goodness, you got something down there that I didn't anticipate. They may not be trying to do all that, but it is trying to trick you on the face of it. And it's proud of that. He told you himself. He is proud of being a deceiver.
In Thailand, I think because it's like normal here, it's accepted. In Philippines, I think it's just a virus.
Virus.
Yeah. Like a zombie, you know, like somebody bites you and then again and again.
So it's like the trend?
Yeah. Yes, this person, I almost called it she or her again, or a woman. But it's just a lying dude. He is lying to himself and us. He's trying to lie to God. But you can't lie to God. He knows everything. But that is something profound this person just said there. That the whole Transformer Decepticon issue is like a virus. It's a zombie virus in the movies. That somebody is ill or really dead. And so then you turn into a zombie and then you all go around biting more people and turning more people into zombies. That is a really good illustration or picture of sin. It is like a virus because you're influencing other people, changing their worldview. You might go around, find people who don't approve or on the fence about it. Well, on the fence means indifferent or agnostic, if you will. But if you're indifferent, you're on their side. If you're indifferent and say live and let live and such things that people say about perversion, you're still part of the sodomite crowd because you're not fighting against it. You're letting it come through. You might say, why use this sodomite word? That's not my Bible. If that's you right now, you better get a real Bible, all right?
In Philippines, I think it's just a virus.
Virus.
Yeah.
You
Like
saw how this dude on the left, the interviewer, saw how he reacted. He didn't really like that. Told some truth right there. It bothered that guy on the left there. You saw that. It's a virus. Yes, there are people who like evil and sin and darkness, and they are going to seek out people who like light and who want to do what God told us to do. So those who prefer darkness and who want to avoid the conviction of the Bible, they are mockers of those of us who pursue the light or the lamp of the word, as we see there in Proverbs. But the workers of iniquity, they're basically commanded or commissioned to find us and influence us. They're not going to like us. Remember, an unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. That means believers and lost people are different at a fundamental level spiritually. And ultimately, those two groups of people are not going to get along. You cannot use Psalm 133 verse 1 to push unity as the world would define unity, because that's different than a unity between believers. Psalm 133 verse 1 is about unity between believers. The world's version of unity, or the devil's, or the sodomites' version of unity, is believers and lost folks getting along and hugging necks or whatever. And a lot of believers, or professed believers at least are self-professed believers, or maybe, and I think even real believers who are going to find out the truth later, they've been tricked or deceived into changing Psalm 133 verse 1 around. So now they think love is love. That's going to use those I almost said verses there. They're going to use those kind of sayings or mottos like love is love. Love is not love. Some love is not real love. Some love is not pleasing to God, quote unquote love. But as believers, brothers and sisters in the faith, we've got a commission too. It's called the Great Commission. We're meant to win people to or for the Lord, the Holy Spirit helping us. Preach the word, be instant in season and out of season. That's the main reason we're even here today. And God is watching all of this. It's all good to expose the evils of this current life. I do a lot of that, but it's all got to circle back to the Bible. If you're just exposing evil and you don't bring Bible into it, you don't bring the Lord Jesus into it, you don't bring salvation and the death, burial, and resurrection of the Lord Jesus Christ into it, what are you really doing? You got to go back to the Bible. And the Bible exposes what an abomination even is. Go do a word search on abomination and you'll see something. You can't really be friends and clink glasses with whatever you want to call them, all these labels that the deceivers have. Now, if you really want God's righteousness, you're going to be against potentially giving yourself over to a reprobate mind, as described in Romans chapter 1 there. This interviewer likes the ladyboys, as they call it, or the baklas. And I've seen them on one other video, and that's why this video popped up. It's here that I'm commenting on right now, that we're looking at biblically right now. I didn't ask to see it. God knows I don't want to see it. The algorithm probably knows, but this is what is being pushed. Did the robot legion, did the algorithm, the AI, did Google, did the devil, did all those entities know that I would respond to this? Probably. Just out of nowhere. Now, I think we noted a few weeks ago that YouTube's latest little upgrade shift, that means that when you open the app, you're going to get a random, or as I say, not maybe it's not so random. You're going to get one of those shorts before you can get to the feed now. You don't open the feed, you don't open the app and just get a lot of videos or whatever. Of things you might want to look at or might not. Now, as soon as you open the app, there's a video playing. And that's how I saw him the first time. Since I let it play, now this video is here. So that's that. So you look at this guy that's interviewing, he is into these male deceivers. That's his look or style. That's his game or his bag. He likes men pretending to be women. He's attracted to that, and he's likely laying around with them somewhere. But suddenly, there he is on this device I'm holding. The internet really can be used for a few good things, but as we've noted before, it's really created by the devil. God can bring some good things out of it. The information is there, the trivia is there, the distractions, the entertainments are there, but ultimately the internet is about devil work. That sounds old-fashioned or just crazy to somebody, but some of you know what I mean by that. It is meant to bring it right to you. 50, 75 years ago or whatever, you had to sneak around, go to certain houses or buy magazines and stuff. Now you don't have to do that. You can just be sitting there and bring it to you now. That's not of God. It can't be. But this Filipino is in Thailand for, I would say, for whatever reason, but perhaps that's a popular destination to undergo his transformation. This guy on the left that's interviewing him is definition sodomite. He's getting play on the platforms, the social media, because he's an ambassador of what the perverts, unseen spirits that are out there manipulating us in all these ways, and the people that are actual people that are running the systems of this world, that's what they want everybody to be into. And I understand that many people you'll see every day fall into the deceiver camp. I know that most of us can't just cut off people that we care about over this issue. Because that's something else you'll hear. Say, "Oh, I've got people who are into this lifestyle. I was at a wedding of these two men, and that's like my nephew or something." I hear people talk like that, so they think they have to put aside righteousness for the world, even if it's a blood relative. This is an evil. At some point, there's going to be lines drawn, and that really all they have been. You've already chosen what side you're on this stuff, because that is a strange thing, or it's a sad thing, I should say, that people are going to choose blood relatives. They're going to choose worldly relationships over what God's told us to do. There's got to be a separation at some point. I understand that's very difficult. But the bottom line, the goal is for men, or the goal is to get us to approve of this, if not take part in it. And ultimately, the enemy wants us to take part in it and even call it spiritual and of the Lord. It's upside down. Kind of like when the wife is a spiritual leader in the home. It seems like this stuff has been going on since there have been groups of people. It's a virus. So as soon as this person on the right talks, it's clear that their voice is off and the mannerisms are off. And of course, it just comes right out and tells us, yeah, I'm a man, but I'm pretending not to be. And you can just accept that for what it is if you want. It's just so matter of fact and casual for that to go on now. Just remember the adulteress in the Old Testament who wipes her mouth and says she's done no wickedness. It says she eateth and wipeth her mouth. But overall, open and unrepentant deceivers are not ashamed of it anymore. Everybody's just out doing their thing. Meanwhile, some of us are going to aim for a biblical worldview, even when it hurts, I guess. Even when it goes against what I really want to do, or what a lot of the stuff I want to say, I want to let it go. I want to be indifferent, I guess, but I can't be. I know what God is saying is right. I know we should avoid this stuff, and I know we should avoid endorsing this stuff. And my knowledge or discernment of what all that means, it can mature, God willing. That's what God has is better than anything else out here. That King James Bible is better than anything you got if you got something else. Because if you are indifferent or you're endorsing this stuff, that means you've got to go around, as this person says, spreading the virus. Spreading the virus of justifying sin. You're going to go around, quote unquote, biting people, or I guess influencing them, convincing them, coercing them, shaming them, intimidating them, canceling them. All these words that you can use there into accepting this and ultimately taking part in it, even if you're just defending the perversion with your words or comments somewhere. Now, and if this movement can't quite capture you, maybe your kids want to take part in it. Maybe they're going to be okay with it. And the show's going to go on from there.